Thank you, Mr. President. So, Mr. President, I rise today to offer a bipartisan Inhofe-Mikulski amendment to the National Defense Act. What does our amendment do? It stops the privatization of commissaries, which are an earned benefit for our military and their families. Every year, when the Senate debates this bill, we talk about how we love our troops and how we always want to support our military families. But if we really love our troops, we need to make sure that our troops have the support that they need. One of the earned benefits that does that is the commissaries. And if we love our troops, why would we want to proceed in the direction that we are? Our troops don't view commissaries as a subsidy. They view it, as do I, as an earned benefit. I'm fighting here to preserve this piece of the earned benefit compensation practice. Now, what are the commissaries? Since 1826, military families have been able to shop at a network of stores that provide modestly priced groceries. The commissary system is simple. If you're active duty in your family, reserve or National Guard in your family, or retired member of military and family, you have access to more than 246 commissaries worldwide. It gives military members and their families affordability and accessibility. Now, Senator Inhofe spoke earlier about where these commissaries are. Some are located in our country, and some are located in remote areas in our country, and over 40% are either in remote areas or overseas. Last year, Senator Inhofe and I stood up for military family benefits to stop privatization. Congress adopted our amendment, but in doing so, required a DOD study assessing privatization, which would affect commissaries. We needed to understand how privatization would affect levels of saving, quality of goods, and impact of families. Well, DOD finally gave us the report, June 6, 2016. So they dropped the report on D-Day. And guess what? It reaffirms what Senator Inhofe and I have been saying. We should not privatize commissaries without additional study. The report is simple and straightforward. We should not proceed with the privatization or a pilot on privatization until further study. First, DOD has demonstrated that privatization cannot replicate the savings that the current commissary system provides. Second, privatization significantly reduces the benefits available to commissary patrons. And privatization would dramatically reduce the workforce, which is where so many military families work. The DOD cannot move forward with privatization with a large number of unloads. We must honor the DOD request and fully evaluate the implications of privatization before we make drastic changes that hurt our military families. That's why everyone should support the Inhofe-Mikulski amendment. Our amendment is straightforward. It strikes bill language authorizing a pilot program privatizing commissaries. It's supported by 41 organizations, the American Logistics, the National Guard Association, the National Military Family Association. Privatizing commissaries is penny wise and a pound foolish. If we care about the health of our troops, we must reject this. Now, I've got more to say here, and I ask unanimous consent that my full statement be in the record.
Without objection.
But, Mr. President, you know, when you go, like I've been to the commissaries in Maryland. You go to the one at Fort Meade. Fort Meade is just a tremendous base. We might not deploy troops like, you know, Fort Bragg or or Camp Lejeune, but what we do there is just phenomenal. There are 58,000 people who work at Fort Meade, some uniformed personnel, some defense contractors, and so on. But we are in the heart of Maryland, which has such a strong military presence, both Army and Navy. And I can tell you, if you came to that commissary with me, you would see it as a nutritional settlement house. You would really like it because you see people there, first of all ranks. So there's a mingling there of all ranks. So you might see some young lady who's married to an enlisted member of the military that has never been out of a barrio, and she's learning a lot about food and nutrition and so on that she had never seen in her own town. She's getting advice, she's getting direction, in addition to saving money. This is very different. Also, if you go there, you see old-timers there that are also, though they're counting their pennies, they're counting their blessings that they have this commissary to be able to go to. It is one, really, when I say a settlement house, it is a gathering to learn about food, about nutrition, about doing a lot of things. It often offers healthier food at cheaper prices. When I talked with our garrison commander about something he and I worked on together called the Healthy Base Initiative, he said the fact that what we were doing there was so phenomenal. We worked to bring in things like salad bars and some of the more modern kinds of things. Was just phenomenal. So one, we need commissaries. Second, if we're looking at how to make them budget neutral, and I won't argue with that point, the DOD study itself says we need to explore two things: other ways of achieving budget neutrality, and they had some suggestions, and also explore with the private sector who would be interested in privatization, and would they result in cost savings without costing the benefits, meaning what is really sold there in nutrition. There are a lot of new and wonderful ideas. You know, my father ran a small grocery store. He'd be amazed at what grocery stores are now. But things like going to private labeling, better management. The DOD has some other toolkits to do before we go off on this approach to privatizing without analyzing. So I'm for analyzing and then looking at the next step. We had the report this year, just arrived. I know the authorizing committee didn't have the benefit of it, so I would hope you would stick with Senator Inhofe and me, reject this amendment, look out for our troops, let's explore other ways for achieving budget neutrality, but let's not just arbitrarily single out this earned benefit for cost savings.